Morning everyone and welcome back to my vlog. Just wanted to come on today and show you my latest make, which was a pattern test I've just done for Andrea over at Experimental Space, and it's the Josie Blouse, which is the blouse I'm wearing now. So this is Andrea's third pattern. She's got two patterns, which was the Evelyn blouse, which was the first one, and the Casey sweater, which she launched last year, and that's when I first became aware of her patterns. I saw a call out on Instagram for some pattern testers, and I applied, and I actually got onto her testing team for the Casey sweater. I've actually worn that top loads. I think there's a video, one of my previous videos, I'm wearing it. I did a couple of versions of that. There's a really nice version over on Like So Amazing, and she also did a blog about it, and I think she's still got a little bit left. She's got some fabric that she calls the Casey striped French terry, which she made her version up in, so that's definitely worth checking out. So I will put a link down below. Excuse me. So this is the third pattern, which is the Josie Blouse. It's got some really nice features which are on the sleeves, which I'll show you in a minute. Just tell you a little bit about the sizing first of all. So on Andrea's patterns, she has a tagline on her patterns, which is "Be a name, not a number," and her size chart uses names rather than numbers. So the sizing goes from the Ava up to the, I think it's pronounced Gia, G-I-A. It takes your high bust measurements rather than your full bust measurements. So it starts at 31 inches and then goes up to the 43 inches for the bust. So for my measurements, I measured the Cara for the high bust. For both my waist and my hips, I was in between the D and the Eve measurements. But looking at the finished garment measurements, there is quite a bit of ease, so I just graded up from the Cara for my bust and then graded it to the D for the waist and the hip measurements, and I was really pleased with the sizes. I didn't have to make any alterations at all. I will just try and show you. I'm a little bit close to the camera. I have got another version that I can show you up close in a minute. But yeah, really pleased with the sizes. Instruction wise, the instructions are really good. I haven't done pleats before, not on shoulders, not when you have to match up like this, so I was a little bit worried about doing that. On the actual pattern pieces, for the actual bodice pattern, it can be quite difficult to see which marking is for which size, because there's quite a few sizes. But what Andrea's done is she's put a really handy diagram in the instructions, and it's got a measurement for the pleats, so it gives you the exact measurement from the shoulder seam and the measurements between each pleat and the size of each pleat. So I didn't use the markings on the pattern piece. I actually used the markings from the illustration on her diagram to do my pleats, and I was really pleased with how they turned out. So those are my pleats. So bearing in mind this is the first time I've ever done pleats of this sort, I think those have turned out really well. So yeah, they drop down the arms like that. You've got a nice bishop sleeve and nice deep cuffs. Probably easier if I show you on my one that I'm wearing, because it's all buttoned up. Those are my cuffs. Yes, I think that's a really nice feature. And the inside is all done with French seams, so again you get a lovely finish on the inside as well as on the outside. So you've got your seams on the side seams, and they run all the way inside the arms as well. You've got nice French seams there. The shoulder seams, they're actually hidden by the pleats, so all the loose ends of the shoulder seams are within the pleats. And then again on the cuff you've got that hides all the seams inside your sleeve. So yeah, I will drop a link down below. I think it's a really nice pattern, and I think Bishop's sleeves, all these fuller sleeves, seem to be really in at the moment. So yeah, definitely on trend. So my first version I made in this was actually some fabric got left over from a previous project. It's a very lightweight cotton, and then for this version I used, I think it's some sort of viscose. I actually picked it up at the NEC when I went to the show a couple of weeks ago. I've got to say, this fabric sewed like a dream. It was really nice to work with, didn't have any problems at all. This fabric I did struggle with, but it was purely down to my fabric choice, not the pattern. It's a very slippery fabric. It's got some stretch to it, and there was a little bit of cursing involved with me making it. But again, like I said, it was the fabric, not the pattern. So it might be worth bearing in mind what fabric you're going to use, especially if you're a less experienced sewer, or if you haven't done things like pleats before. I'd definitely look at using a more slightly less tricky fabric. So yeah, I think it was a really fairly straightforward sew. Not sure if you're an absolute beginner. I think there was actually a beginner on our pattern testing, and she managed it, but probably good to have a few techniques under your belt before you tried to tackle something like this. But it definitely wasn't a difficult sew. I mean, the pattern test period was, we had a week to do the pattern testing, and I managed to get 2 versions within a week. So yeah, I do a lot of sewing, so that could be part of the reason. But yeah, great pattern. So I will drop links down below, and also while I'm on, I just thought I'd mention my necklace. So there's a lady on Instagram, again I'll drop a link down below. She's called So Dainty on Instagram, and she's just started selling some necklaces. So I think there's 4 different ones at the moment. Now there's this one, which I think has been a really popular one. It did sell out, and I waited, and then I realised it was back in stock, so I ordered it. That's my treat for myself. I think there's a button, there's a needle and thread. I'm not sure what the 4th one is. Might be a ball of wool with some knitting needles. I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. So I will drop a link to that below. I didn't show you the artwork, did I? For the Josie Blouse, it's got some really nice artwork. I haven't actually got a printed copy of it, but if I show you online, that's the artwork, which again I think that's really gorgeous. So yeah, so please go and have a look at my links and just check out the patterns below and any other things that I've mentioned. Thank you. Bye.